Morning, Grace Covenant. Happy Thursday. It's Thursday. What day is it? Let's see. It's the 16th, I think. Thursday, March 16th. I'm out here with Traveler in the crisp morning. It's pretty chilly. Had a health ordeal yesterday with Traveler. If you haven't already figured it out, if you are following me in these devotions and my writing the last several years, horses are huge and strong and can be pretty fragile, especially around digestion and things like that. So yesterday was pretty scary for Traveler and me. I've had several folks kind of walking with me through it who are GCPC members, who either have horses or live on farms and have no access to trailers and things like that, because we were maybe going to have to trailer him to an emergency hospital yesterday. Thankfully, he seemed to turn a corner late yesterday, and he made it through the night. He's looking okay this morning. But one of those GCPC members said, you should do another devotion, Horse Manure 2.0. And it actually got me to thinking, a few weeks ago when I talked about horse manure in my devotion, I talked about spiritual constipation and how much, you need to keep moving. You need to move things out and move things in and move things out. Good nutrition, and then also just letting go of things, and how that can really compost a lot of health, a lot of well-being and alignment and equilibrium. And so the thing about yesterday was Traveler, he did this one other time when we lived in Indiana, and all of a sudden it got really cold. It was like 25 below zero, and it was his first winter up there in Indiana. He's a North Carolina horse. I bought him when I lived in Chapel Hill. And boy, his body did not like that extreme cold, and he stopped drinking. He slowed down on his eating. I was worried about him, so I left him in his stall maybe too much because it was so cold outside, so he wasn't moving. And it turned into a health emergency because he wasn't drinking. His digestion wasn't moving, and he got what's called impacted, which is when they just can't go to the bathroom. And I've told you before, horses can't vomit. There's only one way in and one way out. And if they don't go to the bathroom and they don't keep things moving, then they can get impacted, and then they can go from that to a full-on colic, which can be deadly. So that's kind of what happened to Traveler yesterday. We don't have stalls for him here because it's North Carolina, and it's okay for a horse to be in and out all year long generally, and but probably when it all of a sudden got cold again, he kind of slowed down on his drinking and eating. I started to notice a little less manure in the mornings, and then on Wednesday I noticed like a lot less, and that he didn't feel good at all. So thankfully the vet got out here, and I realized, and what I said to the vet was, I'm pretty sure he's impacted, and I think he's gotten himself to a place where he can't get himself out of it. And that set me to thinking about spiritual constipation. And then let's just go on to the next step of spiritual impaction. And what happens when a horse gets impacted is you have to take much more drastic measures. The vet has to come out, and yesterday, poor old Traveler got it coming and going. The vet has to literally reach into their rear end and pull out manure. And then also the vet stuck a tube up his nose and put a bunch of mineral oil and Epsom salts and water into his digestive tract to try to wash it out that way. And so let's go with that as a spiritual metaphor. Like when we really get stuck, when we really can't move, when we really are getting to be almost toxic, Traveler's heart rate was up. His gums were starting to get a little discolored like they do when you get toxic. He was sick. He was really sick. And he couldn't get himself out of it. And it made me think about community. Like yesterday, how many people we needed. He needed me. He needed the vet's assistant. We needed a community with a trailer. I reached out to so many people, and I'm shouting out to my sister, Elizabeth McCorby, who came through and was standing at the ready to trailer Traveler. He needed some medication. He needed some drastic measures. And when we get stuck spiritually, when we are just not moving and it's starting to be toxic, our spirituality can be toxic when we just are so set in our ways of thinking, in our ways of moving, in our ways of being. We're probably not going to get out of that without a community. And sometimes it's the community saying, like, you're not looking too well. Are you okay? Can we support you? Can you stretch a little bit? This might be a little uncomfortable. I guarantee you that wasn't comfortable for Traveler yesterday, but he's feeling definitely better today. And it just underlines the importance. And I mean, God is, as we talk about in the process class, the poet of the world. God is using what we help to create new possibilities. So we're a partner with God in this unfolding of life. And nature tells us so much about what health and well-being and vitality and zest require. And they do. They require deep relationship. They require taking good care of ourselves. They require movement and nourishment and really paying attention when things get toxic. These are just right in front of us. And our spirituality isn't counter to that or the exception to the rule. It is an example, a supreme example of what human well-being and health looks like. I don't think your spirituality needs to look one way or like my way, but some room in your existential metabolism for the fact that there is this bigger world that you're a part of, and you're interdependent with that world, but also sometimes you are utterly dependent on your ultimate good being something that is mediated to you through your interdependence. And that's kind of where we were yesterday. Here comes old Trav. That's kind of where we were yesterday with Traveler. It's like we really needed some help. He really needed a community. And we're really grateful for all the ways that people showed up for us, but also that kind of spiritual, intuitive wisdom that said something is not right, and we need more support. So I invite you, Grace Covenant, to just pay attention to places where you're not moving or you're starting to get a little toxic, and what support would look like. And let's explore that together as we continue our Lenten journey. Blessings on this Thursday, and may it be a day of movement and vitality and health and just feeling good for all of us. Take care.